That's what you're good at.
Yeah,
we all have our
strengths.
strengths, so she's going to sit and do
But I kind of do some of like just the business, the marketing, and just kind of all the behind. Well, not all. We just kind of. She'll tell you.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Jen, for having us tonight. This is amazing. I just want to take okay, first of all, I was told I had 20 minutes, but it's going to be more than 20 minutes. That's because I've just seen how everything's flowing tonight, and we're just going to hang. We're going to chill. I'm not going to worry about the time. We're just going to have fun. So I want to see who drove, like, a long way. Like, not Tulsa or Oklahoma City, but, like, from somewhere else. Or flew. Drove or flew. So we have, like, a handful of people that flew or drove from, I'm from Belleville, Illinois, which is east of St. Louis. Where'd you come from?
Dallas.
Utah. We have a Utah co-op statement right here. Utah in the house. So to me, I mean, that just speaks about we're having a party. People flew in to have a party is what is happening. And so this is a party with a purpose, which is my favorite kind of party. And so before I start talking about what somebody's mom is, I want to talk about who Bam is to me personally as someone who's completely new to this situation. I've been friends with Jennifer for approximately 5 minutes. So, some of you have history with her. And so, like, when she jumped off the cliff, you went, well, that makes sense. But I don't know Jennifer from Eve. So, I'm brought to the situation from Erica, and she's like, okay, my friend wants to do this thing, and it's super awesome, and she's talking really fast, and I'm like, I'm a computer, like that's how I work. I'm very logical, like I speak in binary, and so when she's talking about unicorns and confetti, I don't know what's happening. I'm very confused. So but what I've recognized in being part of this group now for the last month is that I've learned why the unicorn is so important. I studied the unicorn because I thought it was stupid. And so I was like, and this was a thing that kept popping back up. And so I studied why the unicorn was important, and I found out that in mythology and all these stories that they're strong and they're wild and they're fierce and you can't tame them. And there's all these things about unicorn. That's why it's the spirit animal of Bam, right? So this is what, doing good is simple. Keep that in mind. We're going to come back to that. So doing good is simple. But so I found this unicorn. This is what I think of when I think of Bam, right? Right. But this is who I am. Okay? So I feel slightly out of place sometimes because there's all this frilly girly clothes and the tiara. I've never worn a tiara.
No, raise your hand if you've never. I've had so many people say they've never
worn a tiara. Okay, these are my people. You guys are my people, right? So, but before I got here, everybody had, in all the pictures, everybody had blonde hair and frilly dresses and tiaras. And I'm that unicorn. So, what I've learned, though, is that unicorns are fierce, they're strong, they're wild, they can't be tamed, and I can appreciate that. And I'm so glad to be a part of this group because what it's taught me is to get out of my little binary brain and say, you know what, let's just go have fun. So I'm a substitute teacher. Sometimes I'm a writer. I'm a substitute teacher. I sub at my kids' school. And last week I spent some time with some first graders, and there was this little group of girls. They were having free time, and there was this little group of girls, and they were chatting and having their free time. And one of them comes popping over to the desk, and she says, Mrs. Johnson, they won't let me write the book with them. And I said, what I say to all children who come to me with these problems, I said, that sounds like a problem that you can fix without me. That gives you a clue as to who I am as a person and as a parent. So she walks back over the group, and about 2 minutes later, one of the other little girls comes over. She goes, well, see, Miss Johnson, we're working on this desk, and there's 3 of us already on the desk, and there's just not enough room, because if we have another person, then our stuff's going to fall off the desk. She has this whole story, and I said, that sounds like a problem that you can fix without me. And so they walk over there. So I go back to reading my book during free time, and a couple minutes later, here I see this group of first grade girls, and they're getting their crayons, and they're getting their pencils, and they're getting their papers, and all their arms are full, and they're tottering across the room. And they put it down on this big center table. That's just big table where they usually do art, right?
And I just thought, there they go, they fixed their problem, right? And then I overhear the sweetest conversation. And the first little girl, who was the one who was being excluded, she says, is it okay if I just make my own book? And the other little girls kind of looked at her and they said, well, why did you want to work with us? And then there was this kind of pregnant pause. And she said, well, I just wanted to sit with you. And I just thought, immediately, I went, bam! I need to do this every time I say the word bam. Like the Jimmy Fallon JT bam. Hashtag bam. I want to bam. Like immediately I thought, bam, because that's who we are. And I think it's just so important that this group exists, because sometimes we're going to be writing the book together. We're going to be on the same team. We're going to be writing the book together, and that's awesome. But sometimes we're going to have people in this group who are writing their own book, and they just need to know that there's a place at the table for them.
Amen.
So, we need to make space at the table. We need to make sure that everyone feels like they belong, whether they're on our team or they're doing their own thing and they just want the support. So this is me, who I really am. And Erica, I forgot to say, Erica told me I could wear this shirt because I told her I wanted to wear my pajamas. And so she said I had to wear something fancy shoes, but I could wear this. So my favorite color is no pants, because I don't wear pants if I don't have to. So I put on pants for you guys tonight. I put on heels, but Erica said I have permission to wear this shirt. This is who I am. I have two boys. I have three boys. They're 9, 6, and 34. And this is Will. I like to call him the philosopher in our family. And this is Ben. He's the comedian. They're the two sides of the same coin. They both observe the world in really special ways, and they're thoughtful and funny and wonderful. And all of us who have children know what that experience is like. Then my 34-year-old boy is an Air Force pilot who's gone all the time. And he opens jars and takes out the trash and basically supports me in every crazy endeavor I've ever had. And hey now, somebody's got something to prove out there. So he supports me in every way I could possibly imagine, and even the crazy ways, and I don't take that for granted a single day of my life. The other half of somebody's mama is Erica Wright, right here. And most of you, a lot of you know Erica. Erica, this is her lovely family, and this is Matt Wright. I don't know, Erica has a rule, she only marries men named Matt. I don't know if you guys know that. She married Matt Wrong first, and then this is Matt Wright. And so, this is Matt Wright, whose last name is actually Wright. Hashtag BAM. And this is the beautiful Madeline. She's 18, she's going to college. I had the honor and privilege to write her recommendation letter for her college applications, and she's just you know that saying where we say we're going to be strong women and raise strong women? Right here. This girl's going out to change the world. Then we got Charlie. We like to call him Cheeks. He's 6. He is my boy's best friend and just the best thing in the world. And of course, Vivian, who is the peanut butter bandit. She escapes from bed at 11 o'clock at night, goes to the pantry and eats peanut butter on her Elsa costume. And she is going to change the world. Hashtag hot mess, exactly. So, and she is too, and she is a world changer as well. And so that's who we are on a personal level. And here we are at our super official board meeting in Lawrence, Kansas last month. We had breakfast and ate more than 8 men would have eaten and had very important business to take care of. Erica lives in Norman, I live in Belleville, Illinois, so we picked Lawrence because it was halfway. And Missy is a newly elected board member to somebody's mama. And we're super excited about that. We just officially welcomed several board members. And we haven't told you yet, Missy, but when we have board meetings, at the end of every meeting we go to get a tattoo. So I hope you've already agreed. Yeah, you've already agreed. So we will be doing that at the end of every board meeting. No, but we did go get tattoos at this board meeting, and I got it. It's right here. And my tattoo says "until," and this word has a real significant meaning to me in my life for lots of reasons. But one of the things I posted in our BAM group on Facebook was the quote from Nancy Levin that says that we're to honor the space between the no longer and the not yet. And I live by those words because until I can do that, I'm going to do this. And I have to remind myself of that every single day. And all of you that are in this room, you're here for a reason. And most of you, at least if I'm to believe what's said on Facebook, have big dreams for your lives beyond what's happening right now. And this word until, when I wake up in the morning and I look at it, it reminds me to stay present, it reminds me to stay grounded, and that the future has so much in store, there's so much to look forward to, but until then I'm gonna enjoy what's happening right now. And so tonight, as a member of somebody's mama, as a representative of somebody's mama, I'm gonna talk about what we're doing right now to change the world for ourselves, to change the world for our children, and to change the world for people around the world. There's a great prophet, you may know him, his name's Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, and he said this, he said, I don't think human beings learn anything without desperation. Desperation is a necessary ingredient to learning anything or creating anything, period. If you ain't desperate, at some point, you ain't interesting. And I tend to agree with that, right? And I know Jen just got kind of emotional when she was talking about a valley in her life, and I don't think there's a single person in this room that can't remember a time in their lives when they went, what the hell am I gonna do with my life? And it's taken so many forms, I'm sure. And there was a moment in my life that was that desperate moment for me, and it happened in 2010. And without going into too many of the sort of details, it was just a bad time. I was turning 30. I actually liked the fact that I was turning 30. It wasn't about that. I had a party. I got a jump castle. Everyone that walked in the room had to put on granny panties over their clothes and wear granny panties all night, and we jumped in the jump castle, and I had a big old party. I got a cookie cake that was like bigger than my house, and it was awesome. But something happened about that arbitrary number that sent me into like this place where I was questioning my own mortality. You know, like that happens. And then a string of events occurred that brought me to this place where I went, oh my gosh, I don't have control of my life. I don't know what's happening in my life, and I feel completely out of control. So one of those things was I was ready to start seminary. I was going to go into the ministry through the Presbyterian Church, and that fell through, and that was a really big deal, because here I was, I had a husband who was gone all the time. I'm mothering a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and you guys remember that's an exhausting time of motherhood, 5 and 2. And I was looking forward going, am I going to be cleaning pee off of toilets for the rest of my life? Like, is that my calling in life? That's it? And at that moment, I thought I was going to go into ministry, and it fell through. At the same time, a close friend found out she had cancer and died. She was similar age, had children the same age as mine, and she had a very short battle with cancer and died. Same month, 2 pilots were killed in my husband's airframe. Up to that point, no one had ever died in a C-17, which is the plane my husband flies, and there was the first ever accident where there were casualties. And so it was kind of all these things moved together for the perfect storm. And I think you guys can identify with that. You've probably had that perfect storm moment in your life where everything felt like it was falling apart. And I met a woman in that moment when I was feeling really desperate. Her name was Amy Williams. And Amy Williams is from Norman, Oklahoma. She runs an organization called BARD, which is, they work in southern Uganda. And she told me a story that I went from thinking my purpose in life is cleaning toilets to my purpose in life is to build a placenta pit. Right? So you guys, yeah, everyone's going, and you're having the same reaction I had the first time I ever heard about the placenta pit, right? So Amy Williams tells me, we've just built this clinic, and we've got mamas having babies, but we don't have latrines, and we don't have a placenta pit. And a placenta pit is exactly what it sounds like. They dug a big pit in the ground, covered it in concrete with a little hole, and because there are so many bloodborne diseases, and they don't have biohazard units or anything like that, they burn the afterbirth at the end of each day to control the bloodborne diseases, which just sounded insane to me. Here I was, having had 2 children in medical facilities, and where I went to the bathroom afterwards in the same room, and they didn't have anywhere to go to the bathroom, and they were worried about bloodborne diseases. And so I went home from that meeting really feeling like God was saying, this is your purpose in life, is to build this placenta pit, you know? And so I called my dad. My dad ran a nonprofit, still runs a nonprofit that works all over the world. And I said, look, we need to use your nonprofit. I want to be a project under your nonprofit called Somebody's Mama. And we're going to do projects that empower women, that help women all over the world. He said, great, because you don't say no to a woman who calls you at midnight and says, I want to build a placenta pit. Especially your daughter, right? So he says yes. So he adds a line item in the budget for Somebody's Mama, and I start making phone calls and sending out emails. I was blogging at the time. My blog was Yes Like the Princess in Star Wars. Sent out my blog post. And I think we ended up with about 15 people donated, and we built a placenta pit. This is Sister Efrins, who, Sister is what they call nurses in Uganda. So she runs the clinic where the placenta pit is. So here's our placenta pit, right here, right? So this happened in 2011, May of 2011. We built a placenta pit, and that is somebody's mama's very first project, right? So around the same time, Erica Wright and I have been friends for years, and she's traveling around the world, seeing the world and seeing things, and she's feeling those same stirrings for lots of reasons. Here she is working in pharmaceutical sales, and she's got kids at home, and she's going, there's got to be something more. And so we connected on that level, and let me just tell you, without Erica Wright, Somebody's Mama would not exist, because, like I said earlier, I'm a brain person. I think about things some more, and she's a doer. And I always say this, I always say I'm the head and she's the heart, and that's not to say that I'm, you know, heartless or she doesn't think, but that's how we function together. And I never believed in soulmates till I met Erica, because I really believe she's my soulmate. So we just function, we kind of share a brain sometimes. So Erica comes in and she's like, look, I think the Somebody's Mama thing's awesome, but you gotta do more. You can't just like email your friends. You have to do more. And like, I literally went to bed, and the next day we had a Facebook page and a Twitter account, and she was like all over it. And she's a doer. She just goes and does, like she was saying. You know, she has an idea, she takes care of it, she does it. So that's what happened. She ends up getting us started in the social media. We start, you know, figuring out what does Somebody's Mama look like. And we came up with a vision statement and a mission statement, and basically I wanted to draw attention to these. I hate it when people put a bunch of words up on the screen and you're like, why are you doing that? Death by PowerPoint. So, but there's words in here that are really important to the BAM community. We exist to bring awareness to issues affecting women across the globe, to create a community of people who care deeply about finding real solutions, and to turn ideas into action. And our vision is to invest in partnerships that empower women. And I highlighted these: community, partnerships, empower, because that's what BAM is about. BAM is about creating a community, it's about partnerships, and it's about empowering women. And so even though what we do looks totally different, we do not wear tiaras. When we go to West Africa, we do not wear tiaras. We just don't.
We're very sweaty.
We are very sweaty, and we wear clothes that we can leave there because they're kind of worthless after, you know, sleeping on dirt floors and all of that. But it fits so perfectly with what we do. You have the same vision for wanting to help people and do things with women that we do. It just looks a little bit differently. For the very next thing, once we kind of had our social media thing happening, we dipped our toe in the water, seeing what would happen, with a friend named Colleen, who Erica met at Idea Camp in Austin, Texas. She went there, she met all these awesome people doing stuff. So I met this mama, Colleen. She's working in Costa Rica, and she's awesome. And Colleen sent us a message and said, I've got this mama who's having trouble nursing. And here's the thing, lots of people in this room probably had trouble nursing at some point in time. And when we have trouble nursing, we choose formula. We go to a midwife or La Leche League and say, help me. We have options, right? But when you live in rural Costa Rica, in a place where you have to walk miles to get any kind of health care, your baby dies. That's what happens when you can't nurse. And Colleen runs a maternity center there. That's what she does. She helps women nurse all the time. And she said, this is a real situation where it's just not happening. It's not gonna happen. And if we don't do something, this baby's gonna die. So, it was gonna cost $500 to feed this baby for a year. $500 was what it was gonna cost for the life of a child. And so we sent out emails and we said, hey, somebody give us $500. And there were 8 donors. We raised $500, and we bought, in 2 days, and we bought all the formula this baby needed for a year.
She's so fat.
She is, she's fat and sassy. This is baby Sabrina, this is Mama Naomi. So here we are, we're like, okay, so that took 2 days to raise $500. We should try something bigger, right? But we didn't really know how to do that, because at this point we're like making phone calls and emails, and it wasn't a very efficient system, and it was just me and Erica, you know? So what we decided is we stock Bob Goff. I mean, we love Bob Goff, right? We stock love him, we do. If you don't know Bob Goff, go find you some Bob Goff. He wrote a book called Love Does. It's the most simple, I mean, it's one of those things where you read read it and you go, this shouldn't be life-changing, but it is, because he just says love does. Love is a verb. You just go out and do it. It's not hard. Remember, doing good is simple. And so he wrote this book, Love Does. We stalked him and talked to him, and so we, kind of inspired by Bob Goff, decided to start Love Clubs. And this is actually a picture from a girls' trip we took to Sedona, Arizona, and we were all goofing around, and we took this shadow picture, and our friend Jennifer had this weird effect thing on her camera, and so she made, and so I don't remember, I think this is the, you're the E, yeah, you're the E. So anyway, this is Jennifer and Stephanie, and Jennifer and Stephanie are also members on our board. They live in Oklahoma City. And we snapped this picture years before we even thought of the Love Club, and then when we started the Love Clubs, we went, oh, that picture, it's gonna be perfect. So we started the Love Clubs, and what a Love Club is you and your friends do what you do and raise money at the same time. Doing good is simple, right? So, I just had a garage sale. I just moved to a new place. I don't know very many people, and so for my first experience to be with people, to be like, hey, come to my house and give me money. It's not really a good way to make friends. So I said, I run this organization, and we do stuff for women all over the place, and I'm having a garage sale. Bring me your junk. I had 12 families bring me their junk in 5 days. We made $1,000 at our garage sale. The same day that I was doing that, Erica was having a spa party. She had a bunch of friends that do Young Living, and so the Young Living people donated the stuff to make little spa things. They came, they had a sleepover, slumber party. That was her Love Club. We have a board member named Jamie Holiday, who is a friend of mine that I met through the Air Force. She has a 6-year-old, a microphone.
It is a microphone, and it is pink.
Is it a Barbie microphone?
Oh, it's a Barbie microphone, and it works.
Okay. Is it on?
No, but it will be in a minute.
So Jamie Holiday has a 6-year-old, a 2-year-old, and twin 3-month-olds. So she's a busy woman. I just spent 2 days with her watching her nurse her babies, because that's all you do when you have twin 3-month-olds. And so she is a board member and has supported somebody's mama for a long time. And I said, you know what, Jamie, you get a pass this time. You don't have to have a Love Club, right? Because she's super busy. She said, no, I want to raise money. So she's actually having a raffle right now. She does beautiful crochet and yarn work. She's having a raffle for $5 a ticket. You can put your name in the bucket, and whoever wins, she's going to make a personalized, custom-made, whatever craft they want, blanket, you know, she makes this little stuffed animal, it's awesome. That's what she does, that's what she's good at. I do not crochet. I tried one time, and it was supposed to be a square, and it ended up being a trapezoid. It was not good. So, that's what she does, so she's doing it, that's how she's raising money, that's her Love Club. We have also had, this is our friend Nick. He lived in Hawaii at the time. He was in the Air Force. He walked around his squadron and told people to give him money. Like, that's what he did.
Give me all the money in your wallet.
Yeah, give me all the money in your wallet, right? But he did it because his mama had passed away the year before. And he said, you know what? I want to help you with this project. I want to do it in honor of my mama. And he walked around and he said, give me money to his friends, and he raised $500. And then these are just some of the other Love Clubs that we've had. There's Missy, right? Is that your Love Club? There's Missy. Yeah, there's Missy. And we've had, this was a tea party that they all brought their little girls and told their little girls about it, which I think is awesome. We're raising strong women. There's a dessert party, Cinco de Mayo. And so that's how we did it. We don't have big events because we're from all over the country. We've got people in all over the country. So we can't have a big fundraising event. Plus, people get tired of giant fundraising events. And so we've just asked people to partner with us and say, I'm going to tell my friends about you and raise money for somebody's mom. We have 4 areas of focus. We focus on maternal health care, education, economic empowerment, and trafficking. So each of our projects focuses on that, one of those areas. Last March, Erica and I and our families went to West Africa. And while we were there, we carried love from the Somebody's Mama community to West Africa with us. Basically, we said, hey, we're going to West Africa. We don't actually know what we're going to run into there yet. We know of some needs, but we're not really sure what all we're going to do while we're there. And so, while we were there,
hello, awesome.
While we were there, there's an orphanage that I personally have been involved with since 2003, and we bought them books to start a library. They didn't really have the concept of reading for pleasure, so when we told them we wanted to buy them books, they wanted us to buy them textbooks, and we were like, no, we want to buy you picture books. And here we have 80 children that have never read for pleasure. And so Jamie, the girl who's knitting it was her idea. She said, I want these. She's been to West Africa. She knows these kids. She said, I want to start a library. So we bought books and we started a library. That's what this is here. We bought that whole. These are some of the books. We spent a whole day in a community of fishing villages that's mainly made up of widows and children, and we passed out rice and corn and just spent time loving on mamas. There's an apprentice program as part of the orphanage, and the people that come out and go into the apprentice project, they need sewing machines. And that we bought sewing machines so that they can continue their training to be seamstresses. And then these are our kiddos down here at the school, because we built an addition to the school that was there. 5 years ago, there was no school. It was a farming community, and none of the parents thought it was important to send their kids. And somehow we convinced them to send their kids, and when we went there, they had a major problem. The government was going to shut them down because they had 300 kids in a building that was only supposed to hold about 200. And so the government said, either you build more buildings or we're going to shut you down. So somebody's mama said, nope, we're not going to shut down. We're going to build another building. So we built another building for our kiddos. Another project we did was we built, these are pictures are here for Gabe Paisley, who's here taking pictures tonight. These are pictures that she took because she has been to Sierra Leone. And this is Dr. ABD. Dr. ABD runs a clinic in Sierra Leone, and some of you may have not even known where Sierra Leone was until recently when the Ebola crisis happened. It was in the news a lot. We built a maternity ward there. So far it has been used as an Ebola ward, because literally the same week that they were completing the tile work for the flooring, Ebola hit. But thank God for that it existed, because if it hadn't, they wouldn't have had space for all the patients. So we built a maternity ward, and we just, my dad, who works with us in a lot of these projects, he talked to Dr. ABD, and they said it's getting better. It's getting better. So we've had good reports from them that it's getting better, and we hope very soon to have some pictures to show of babies actually being born in our maternity center. This is a picture of the school we talked about, at the school I talked about in Togo. That's the building that they built out of bamboo. That's where the kids were, and it was a fire hazard. So then we built this structure to replace that one so that all of our kiddos would fit in the school building. One of the questions we get a lot is, how do we choose our partners? Because we live in Norman and Belleville, and we're not in these countries, and we're not, here every day. And so we choose organizations that are doing what they do well within our 4 areas of focus, and a lot of it comes from networking and just knowing people in this world. We choose organizations that don't have a large donor base yet, so we're not donating to United Way or these organizations that have huge donor bases. We choose organizations that are on the ground doing the work and maybe don't have as many supporters to support their work. We choose organizations that will steward your money wisely and frugally, because that's really important to us. We are all volunteer. None of us get paid for anything. We do this as a side job. Erica's a full-time pharmaceutical rep, mother of 3, and wife to 1, which is also a full-time job, right? And I'm, similarly occupied. And so 100% of donations that come in, we are committed to those going directly to projects and not to administrative costs and all of that. And so if we're doing that, we want the organizations that we're giving to also honor that and honor your donations. Another question we get is, this is just really a reason to show another picture of my kids, because they're really cute. And this is Cheeks, this is Charlie, and this is Will, and this is Ben. And the other question that we get a lot is, so why do you guys do stuff in the world, like out there, instead of doing stuff locally? And I show this picture because this was the day last summer, and Erica had been to a wedding, and the people at the wedding said, take the centerpieces home, we don't need them. And so she took these home, and we went with our boys, and we went to a nursing home in the neighborhood and gave them to some of the people in the nursing home. And I show this picture as an example, one, because our kids are cute, but also because if you're involved with somebody's mama, you're already doing something local. The people that are involved with what we do are socially active, socially conscious, and we have mamas in Washington that are just beating the streets for autism, and we have mamas in Florida that are all about the Down syndrome community, and we have people in Oklahoma that are all about helping people who are experiencing homelessness. So if you've got a cause that's close to your heart, then do that where you are with your friends. It's not either or. But what this does is, because we are spread out, we are all over the place, this gives them an opportunity for us to get together and do something together. And the reality is that the world is much smaller than it used to be. And whether it's our literal neighbor or our neighbor in Africa, they're still our neighbors, and we're called to love our neighbors. So, we are all over the internet. You can find us at somebody'smama.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. Please go find us if you haven't already. I said, this is what I said. Find us, like us, follow us, tweet us, pin us. And then invite your friends to do so.
Before you do that, tonight you guys are going to get your super fancy swag bags. Inside the swag bag, you're going to have an invitation that is going to allow you to do two things. So, every time we have a new project, one of the things that I do is host an online love club, because we're all spread out, and face it, like, people don't like to wear pants and put on makeup and stuff like that, right? So we did our first and last project, and it was awesome. So you guys are going to have an invitation in your bag on Friday, May the 8th, I think it is, I don't know. I've had 3 of these, but it's in there. And you guys come and join our online live club. It's super fun. It's just a Facebook event. You just go back to the page. We totally just made this up, but it worked. And we just like have live feeds, and people post selfies, and you'll learn stuff about our current project, and there's recipes. I mean, it's fun. So we want you to come and join us. And if you can't join us, on the back of the invitation is a little QR, you know, those little weird, funky, spotty square things that you scan with the thing on your phone. If you would like to just donate, you can scan that, or you can go to our website and donate to that project that I think she's getting ready to tell you about what we're doing now, because it's super awesome.
I am.
But you have an invitation in your bags.
Yeah, so that's the last thing I want to say, and then we'll be done, and somebody else can talk. And this is...
You're awesome.
So I have a microphone. That's dangerous, you know, handing people a microphone. So the project we're working on right now, actually, and there was, one other thing. There was one kind of pop-up project that we didn't even advertise in social media. We had an opportunity to finish a school that they had built partially, but they couldn't finish it, and they needed about $3,000 to finish it, which is just silly that there was kids not going to school in India because they couldn't finish the building. And so somebody's mama actually offered a $1,500 matching funds grant. We offered $1,500. Other donors came up with the other $1,500, and we finished the school like that. And so in May, which is like now almost, in 2 weeks I leave for India, and I'm going to go check on our school in India and see it with my own eyes. So I'm super excited about that. And also while I'm there, I'm going to be checking out a group called Free Set, and they work with former sex slaves. And what they do is they get them off the streets, they train them in jobs, they give them health care, literacy. It's an incredible organization, and I'm going to go meet with them and start our partnership with them, because our next project is going to be dealing with trafficking victims in the biggest red light district in India, in Kolkata. But currently, our current project is we are hiring healthcare workers in Uganda. And the program itself, it costs $360 for a woman to go through a year-long training. At the end of that training, they have a certification that is similar to a nursing degree or a midwifery degree. It's kind of a merge of those two things. And they're allowed to sell certain medications and supplies. And so once a woman is trained in this program, she has a reach of about 700 to 1,000 people in her community, and she will be the only healthcare worker in her community, where otherwise these people, if they have malaria or skin rashes or they're delivering babies, would have to walk miles to get somewhere to have that seen. And so what happens in these places is you've got something like maybe a boil that then turns into a life-threatening issue, because they're not going to walk 7 miles to the hospital. And so having a healthcare worker in the area who's trained and has the supplies to help that is life-changing for hundreds of people. And so our original goal was to hire 15 healthcare workers. And I don't know what we were thinking, because we just totally underestimated how awesome everybody is. I mean, it was just crazy, because we met our goal immediately, pretty much. And so now we've upped our goal to 20, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna need to up that again, because people are just excited about this. We're changing the life of a woman who will now be able to support her own family, and we're changing the lives of 100 other people that will have access to health care. So, the last thing I want to say is this, from the great Margaret Mead: never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. So cheers. Cheers to BAM. Cheers to Somebody's Mama. Thank you, Jen. Oh, right. You can do that.
Here you go. So, Before I pull, we have some special visitors that we're gonna Skype in, and you're standing in front of what they can see. Hey,
So
how are
sorry.
you doing? We're gonna Skype in some special visitors. But I just wanted to also recognize that was the last night before last, our partners in our current project that we're working with is a group called the Adventure Project. And Becky Straw, our current Mama of the Month, won the Diane von Furstenberg People's Choice Award. That was $50,000 at the UN. Hillary Clinton was on the front row. It's kind of a big deal. So
She's our current partner.
we're working with some really awesome people, and we want you to come along. So, okay, now, but talk about some awesome people, because I really hope they're still connected. I don't even know. They may be. Oh my gosh! Let's see. How does that get off? Wait. Why is that not showing up? Hang on.
And while you're doing that, because I'm a very multitasker.
Hang on.
Okay, so we had a local artist paint this painting, and all proceeds, we're gonna raffle this off tonight. I so win it for myself, but I win everything, so I will not be in the raffle. But we're gonna raffle this painting off. And all proceeds, every raffle ticket's going to be $10 per ticket. Amber, why don't you come up real fast? Amber, come up just real fast. Show yourself. Come hold the pic and I'll read it. Because see, I'm just going to get this done while they're doing their thing. So, hold your picture. And does anybody have a pair of readers? Anyone? No? Okay. Once I turn 40, I can't read one thing. So I'm in my car with sunglasses and readers, and it's very confusing. So, okay, so we are going to be raffling this off. I mean, right? Those are real rose petals. Okay, so about the painting. The current painting is titled The Permanent Giving Rose, which, okay, let me have the microphone. There you go. Okay, hello. Okay, this is called The Permanent Giving Rose, which is one from the Genesis collection by the local artist, Kay Wayne. And so basically, this is all about giving back. I know whenever I was in my abyss pit valley, that when I give to someone else, I feel better about myself. And when I have my pity party, okay, now I'm blind. When I have my pity party, it just puts it in perspective that be thankful for what you have, because I get all wrapped up, and then it's just when I give to someone else, I feel better. And that was the whole thing where I thought I gotta join forces with a charity to give back, because when that light bulb comes on and you see pure joy out of something that you've given them with an attachment, my heart's happy. And a funny story, my daughter Cameron, who is not here, but she was earlier, we're in the car, we're complete opposites. She's just like my husband, and which is opposite for me, because you attract your opposite. So we're in the car one day, and it's raining, it's cold, and there was a man at Memorial, literally off Creek Nation Memorial, and he had one leg, so he was only standing on one, and he had a sign, and it said whatever, and it was raining, and I was trying to give him money, and then the light turned, and it was a fiasco, and everybody was honking their horn, and I had to go. And Cameron was like, Mom. And I'm like, and I said, at least he has one leg. And we kept driving, and she looked at me, and we laughed, not that it was funny, but she's like, because it's a mindset. So I always try to find silver lining. Like, he has one leg, and there were other people giving him money. And so when you gave this, that is like the giving, literally the permanent giving rose, I thought, how apropos for this event. So what we're gonna do is literally, I don't even know if people have given yet, because there was a chaos. There's a lot to do at the door by signing in and putting your tiara on your head. So what we're gonna do is there's 2 raffles, and this one's gonna be separate. It's $10 per ticket. Every dollar goes to somebody's mama. And someone will walk around with this pretty. Yes, absolutely. So, and Amber Rose, thank you so much. Because she is a rose. I wonder if that is why they called it maybe something had to do with it. So thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate it. Okay.
We are having some technical difficulties, but we are trying to Skype in live from Norman, Oklahoma. Tonight we have a love club going on in Norman, Oklahoma, and their theme tonight is 80s night. So Donna, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Donna? Are you confused?
Okay, she's got 80s hair.
Look at her hair, look at her hair. You guys are muted. Can you unmute? Can you unmute yourself? I think you're muted. Oh well, heck.
There she
Hey,
is.
let's do this. We can't hear you. Just pan around and show us your hair and your boobs and all your stuff. Look at you. Let's see everybody else. Show everyone else. One, come on. She's gonna turn around. So Donna is also one of our board members. Donna is an attorney with his fabulous hair and purple eyeshadow. Donna and I went to high school together, and there's Stacy, and they're all meeting. Wave, everybody. Oh my God, there's a side ponytail. Hello. Woo-woo! Hey, there we go. Hey.
Converse are back. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You guys are awesome. There they are. They're partying in Norman. So our plan was to have them tell you why they love Somebody's Mama, but we've gone long. This is just a great example. They're getting together doing what they do. I think they're having... wine coolers with Jolly Ranchers. Yeah, and I think she said next time they're going to have a prom. So thank you guys. Sorry that they've been watching this from another Skype over here too. They've been watching the whole thing. So everybody wave. We love you. Your boobs look great. Nice hair. All right.
Okay, let's give Somebody's Mama a round of applause. So to save time, because I know that we said till 9 o'clock, and I hope most of you guys are going to stay. Our live entertainment is going to play afterwards, and then the kitchen is open, full kitchen if you want to eat dinner. So what we're going to do, where did they go? Okay, so Nancy, the pink ticket reel, so to save time, because I'm real good, fly by the seat of my pants girl, we'll just give the pink ticket reel, so however many tickets you want for this drawing. So everybody is already in the raffle for a $700 value, which we'll do you will do at the end. But this is totally separate. This was donated, and all proceeds to this is going to go to Somebody's Mama. So there it is. So we'll just start it here. So it's $10 per ticket. So however much money you want to donate to Somebody's Mama, all proceeds go to Somebody's Mama. Just take however many tickets. If you just want one ticket, yes, Kim McGinty.
Is there a way tonight for people just to...
Oh, we're going to so do that. Oh, yeah, but you know, I'm a multitasker. So what we're going to do is take however many tickets you want, and then when we are done, because we're kind of pressed for time, then if you want 3 tickets, that would be how much? $30. And so what we'll do, I am a school teacher, we do have PayPal, and they're going to swipe it. It will go directly into Somebody's Mama account. But I just thought, yeah, absolutely. Well, a donation, you get tickets, and you're going to maybe win the art, because I would win the art if I donated, because I win. But I love that. So however many tickets you guys want, it all goes to Somebody's Mama. And so if they take cash, credit card, even a check, I think, where did Erica go? They'll take a check. So just however much you want to donate for this pretty picture. This pretty picture right here. So, okay, so I'm going to bring the next people up, but they said something. I had an aha moment with my good friend Nancy here. So a little bit about Nancy, since you're here, and I really fly by the seat of my pants, and there's no agenda. I met her 4 or 5 years ago, and she created this wonderful, wonderful company called Lavishay. It's a lotion bar, and she gives me this product, and I'm like, what in the hell? 2 syllables. And I'm rubbing it on my knuckles, and I immediately told her, you need to take this to Shark Tank. And she goes, well, I've been trying. And fast forward to present moment, probably 4 months ago, we reconnect, and I'm like, okay, tell me about your Lavishay and Shark Tank. And she said, well, you know, can you believe they sent me a cease and desist letter or email? I'm like, what the hell? Okay, that was somebody in a bad mood that wanted to literally rain on your parade. They are not going to drive to Tulsa, Oklahoma and arrest you. Do you want me to resubmit your stuff? And she looked at me like, what? I go, do I need to resubmit your stuff? I've never missed an episode, and from day one, I said this needs to be on Shark Tank. And she was like, okay, I'll do it. So in the theme of the BAM, the Be Amazing movement, is be bold, live all out. Don't let somebody stop you from living your dreams. And she literally said, okay. 2 weeks later, her fiance calls me, oh my God. And I'm like, what? Like nervous. He goes, Nancy's on the phone, the other line with Shark Tank.
Shark Tank.
Of course she is. Of course she is. And she like literally thought, what do I have to lose? And she jumped off the cliff and she went there. And so Nancy and myself, because what's funny is,
You're gonna be on Shark
so she literally, no, come over. So she came over. I'm always gone on spring break. This spring break, we didn't go anywhere. My oldest daughter went to Guatemala on a mission trip. But it's funny because everything happens for a reason. And I'm like, wow, as I had, again, pity party. Well, I'm not on the beach. I'm not here. She calls me, and we spent 3 days of her spring break shooting her videos for Shark Tank. And that's the reason. I got stuck in traffic the other day with this sister here, my best friend Tanya, and literally she goes, because we're supposed to be here. If we were somewhere else, we might be in a car wreck. I'm like, thank you for that. Because, you know, if you just realize that everything happens for a reason, and so she jumped off the cliff, and then you can just say that you had your aha moment.
Well,
And we are very pressed for time. You have 2
okay,
minutes.
okay. So, how many?
2.
Okay, so this is the deal. My ex-husband, or my husband at the time, and I started this business. And then we went through a really bad time. We ended up being divorced. And then, well, fortunately, he is still my business partner. So if any of y'all have exes, you know how difficult that could be. But anyway, so with Jennifer's encouragement and you know, other friends of mine back in Colorado were like, no, you can't do it. Why would you do that? And Jen's like, why not? And that's always been me, but I questioned it. And just having people that say, yeah, let's do it. You can do it. Why not? What the heck? You know, or what the hell, as Jen would say.
2 syllables.
2 syllables. So we, you know, it's just amazing. And we're getting out there. Real quick, another weird coincidence, which nothing is a coincidence. I actually, one of my best friends goes, weirdly enough, to Uganda and builds schools in Lira, Uganda. And I sponsor, my fiance and I sponsor a child in Lira, Uganda. I actually have taken on this mission now. I am actually sewing blankets for 60 children in Uganda that are orphans. But it's just like when she said, I have my pity party, oops, hello wine. When I have a pity party about myself, I go and I sew these blankets because I'm doing it for these kids that, you guys, they don't have blankets, it's ridiculous. So anyway, just everyone empowering each other and lifting everybody else up. I mean, that's what the BAM movement's about, so. Woo!
I was with her and we were, you know when you have those aha moments, like you're thinking about it and then all of a sudden something comes out of your mouth and you're like, what in the heck? Where'd that come from? And we were just talking about this movement and how I was like, this is something 8 years in the making. And I said, you know, Nancy, and we were at a coffee shop, and I said, if you literally change one woman, A-N,
She's writing this down. This is coming out of her mouth.
I literally, I will sometimes open up my mouth and I'm like, did I just say that?
And God is speaking.
I said, if you change one woman, woman, you change one child. If you change one child, you change the world. Amen. And I think everyone gets caught up in the generation and these kids are blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, stop the press. I was in the classroom for 10 years and my major is early childhood education. And it does not, these little children down here are total mirrors, replicas of us. So the world is getting jacked up, ain't because of these down here, it's because of us. So I thought that was kind of the catalyst, let's do this. And when we wake up a woman to own her beauty and own her strength. And several of y'all pointed out back to the little emails. I literally I picked hashtags from the Manifesto, which you guys are all gonna get in your bags. And I would pick it, and then I would literally, non-writer, I don't wanna be a writer, but I jumped off there, and now I have 21 things to write. And all day, I'm like, oh wow, okay, I get to write tonight. And then I'm like, and I don't get stressed out about anything, so I like wait. I'm like, I'll wait about it. I'll wait till 9 o'clock at night, so then I'm up till 3 in the morning. Because my kids are in bed and it's quiet. And one particular night, I was like, okay, God, I got nothing, so I'm gonna take a quick little nap on the couch. And I set my alarm, and maybe I'll wake up to something. So I set my alarm, and I wake up at 1 a.m. And when I wake up, I'm like, okay, what do you got? And literally in my head was Dove commercial. Now, I had not seen this Dove commercial with the sketch artist. For you guys that have received my emails, that just came to my head. So when I go to YouTube, I found the Beautiful Door one. I had never seen that my whole entire life. That changed my soul. And for you guys that haven't seen it, I'm gonna have the emails, you know, available. But basically, long story short, there's 2 doors, and one says beautiful, literally, one says beautiful, and one says average. And someone is taping women to get into this building, and they're walking up, and you see them going, beautiful, average. And I can't tell you how many people went through average. I can't tell you how many people went and turned around and walked off. One woman had a child going through average. She grabs her and throws her through the beautiful door. So that's kind of what's behind this movement. Are we good? No? Well, okay, where's Erica? Or Princess Leia? Can you fix this? This is from y'all.
Fix it?
Well, this is from you guys doing your computer. I wanted to put up our thing. This right here is from you guys changing it to your other.
So there, and also the swag bags that we were talking about earlier. There's a lavishe bar.
Oh, y'all get a Shark Tank too.
So you'll know on Shark Tank, you'll be like, oh, I know that.
Yeah, you're like one of the first participants. Okay, so while they're finishing this, 2 more people. So a good friend of mine, Erin Canario. Did I say it right? Yay! You know how you meet certain people and they change your life? So I meet Erin, and her story, I pretty much did not go through diversity, if you will. I did, until, you know, I always tell my own children, be careful, you know, there's always someone out there that has it so much worse than you. And when I met Erin, and she tells me her story and what she went through and what she persevered, it changed me as a person, because I truly do want to make a difference. And where she was in life and then where she is now, it's astounding. And so she's going to literally, in 5 minutes, which you can, just share. She has gone through literally hell and back, and she's shining in her light. And I do know, just through teaching, that if you... stories sell, right? Or stories tell, facts sell. So when you hear somebody's story, that's what kind of changes you. So Erin Hanaria, let's give her a big warm welcome. No, just you, you're talking. So
okay, I'll make this quick. Thank you for having me up here. Actually, it's kind of a funny story with Jen and I, because we're kind of the epitome of the BAM movement, because at first we actually had a little confrontation with each other.
We did.
I forgot about that. Yeah, but the cool thing about it is this, because as women we know that this can happen, right? And that we need to put a stop to all that stuff, right? So the cool thing,
I came up to you and did what?
Right, so the cool thing is that when we finally actually saw each other in person, we just looked at each other in the face, like we both like owned our crap and said like, wow, we're powerful, like let's lock arms and go. And so that's what needs to happen. And so that's...
Because I reached out and I'm like, leave my friend alone. And then we meet together, and I literally looked at her and I said, I owe you an apology. because I am the woman's woman, like all of us. Like, I have my friend's back. I'm loyal by default. And when I literally just said, hey, blah, 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 we meet together, and I said, you're amazing, and I owe you an apology. And you literally looked me in the eye, and you were like, oh my gosh, thank you for that apology. And you're like, you're welcome. And we hugged, and here we are together. Okay.
But that needs to happen more, right? Like, that needs to happen more with women. So I just love that that's kind of our backstory, because I feel like it's just so awesome. And now she's like, we talk all the time and we just love each other. So that's how the world needs to be. And that's why we need to support each other. So a little bit on my story. If I had succumbed to everything that anyone had told me about myself and my life and where I should be, I should, probably be homeless and, not be here right now. So, as a teenager, I was a really rough kid. I was the kid that you did not want to be the parent of. And I was, involved in drugs and the wrong people, and I dropped out of school at 15. I went to beauty school. I mean, everything I did was just one mistake after another. My family told me I wouldn't amount to anything. It was a rough road. And so I did put myself through beauty school. I'm an esthetician now. I've been a skincare specialist for 17 years. And so I thought I was pretty on top of the world. I had graduated and was kind of making something of myself. I think my family thought I would never quite make it anywhere but like just Supercuts or something like that, and that would be like the top of where I was gonna land. So anyway, I ended up getting hired on by a really prominent doctor. I ended up working for one of the top plastic surgeons in New York City. I'm like the high school dropout that actually did something. But when I was 20, I got married when I was 21, and then the year I was 23, Jen talking about going through valleys, and I have to say Princess Leia now, but Leia, who is talking about how we all had that moment when we thought we weren't going to go anymore. And so when I was 23, in that course of about 9 months, I lost my mom, my husband, and our baby. And so that was my whole world just stopped. And I didn't quite know what I was gonna do or how. I don't know. People to this day will say, "Oh, I could never get through that," and I said, "No, you could if you had to," because I'm always amazed by what people can make it through when you're faced with that. But when we think about it, we don't ever think we could, and we can actually make it through a lot. So I went through a really terrible time after that. Lots of mistakes, just running from myself, and was told I would never have children after that, and it was just a hard thing. And I knew more than anything, I had seen so many families in the hospital with my husband. So my mom was killed in a car accident, and that was just quick and done. My husband was sick for a while, and I was in the hospital, and I just saw so many families grieving, and so many just people that needed support and needed other people. And I knew that I had to help people in some way through all of this, and I just didn't know how. So I spent years actually running from myself and making mistake after mistake, and lost every penny I had, and ran off and married a guy right out of prison, and you name it, I've done it. So but anyway, long story short, it's been a long, crazy, rough road. I do have a 5-year-old son now. He is amazing. He's a miracle. I am with an amazing man. He's actually was my first boyfriend when I was a kid. And so he has really come into my life and just kind of I've rescued him. Come on, let's be honest. We all know that we're the rescuers, right? But I like to tell him that he rescued me because that makes him feel good. So I do that. So he did rescue me and my son from a lot of stuff. And he has 3 lovely children. So now here the person that was the high school dropout, lost everything, literally didn't think I would live another day past my weakest moments. You know, I have 4 beautiful children. I have a really loving man that does everything for me. I run a very successful skincare business. I'm certified in oncology aesthetics, so I actually work with women going through cancer, and I travel around and I educate on the importance of non-toxic products. I won't get into that spiel because that could be hours, but we've got to be aware and stop killing ourselves with all the junk we use and we use on our kids. And what you put on your skin is as important as what you eat, and so we need to really be aware of these things. So I educate in this. I help families, and then I actually have, through non-toxic products, have built a massive business for myself. So I now teach women how to build massive customer bases in whatever you're selling, because we're all selling something, whether it be an idea, a product, a service, whatever it is. If you ever need to build a customer base, I love to be able to show you how to do that so that you can actually live off of the money and be successful and not struggle and have fun while you do it. So I have my skincare business, which is Transparent Beauty by Erin, and I have my program that I help women entrepreneurs, which is The Art of Social Retail. So thank you for having me here. Thank you very much.
I know, amazing.
Wow.
Oh, she's amazing. Bam! No, wait, what is it? Hashtag bam! Okay, what we're currently trying to do, and I'm like, I've got a little nervous tick right now. So, there's a program at the beamazingmovement.com that I plugged in, installed, whatever. So for you guys taking pictures tonight, when you post pictures, if you hashtag BAM, B-A-M, or BAM Bash, or Be Amazing Movement, that on the beamazingmovement.com website, they will simultaneously be popping up. It's interactive, and I wanted y'all to see it, but y'all get to see this instead. But we're trying so hard. So as you guys take pictures, literally, and I'm talking, this is how crazy social media is, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, if you hashtag BAM or BAM Bash or Be Amazing Movement, your pic will come up on our website maybe in a minute. So I just wanted to tell you guys that. So to close out the evening, so basically, I told you how, hashtag BAM, so I told you how I just jumped off and all these people came, and it really takes a village to change the world. So we now have the cause, the charity, which is somebody's mama. And then I met a friend that couldn't come tonight. She lives in Fort Worth, and she literally my best friend, partner in crime, the whole bit, the person, actually I have 2, Stacy Bell and Tanya Skubik. And, Olsen, she's married, but from high school at Skubik, you're always Skubik to me. And they have just been my support, and she was telling me about this woman that I needed to meet. She ran across a video of mine, reached out to me, I went to see her, and I've been always living this life on intention, meaning what you put out in the world comes back. I have 1111 on my arm, and people are like, what's 1111? I've seen it my whole life, and you can read about it on the blog to save time. And when I met her, she literally made a tangible piece of jewelry for how I live my life, meaning, what do you want? Oh, you're scared shitless to write a book? Well, start writing. And oh my gosh, you want to start having a child, but you were told you were infertile? Just are you gonna let that stop you? Go and reach all your avenues. There's other ways to have a baby. And so I'm talking to her, and she's telling me her dreams, and I'm like, that is how I live my life. And she's like, oh, I know. I found you through one of your videos, and I want you to help represent our company, and it's called Wishing Well. And so this piece right here, basically she created tangible pieces of jewelry that houses a well. So if you think about wishing a well when you were a child, and you would make a dream, and you would have your coin, and you're like, I want to be whatever, a writer one day, and you throw it in, you can buy the pencil charm and put it in the well. And in our swag bags, everyone's going to get a free charm with purchase if you want to. You don't have to, but since I am a teacher, people are asking me about all of these different partnerships that are kind of partnering with the BAM movement, if you will. And if I'm a teacher, you have to have a tool. So 8 years ago when I started Cup of Joe with Jen, I would meet with my friends. We would cry, laugh, giggle, take selfies at a coffee shop. We would both feel good. And then a month later, they were exactly back where they started. Jen, I miss you. I need you. Let's go have a Cup of Joe again. Let's meet for happy hour. And my aha was like, okay, wait, I'm a teacher here, so what the hell's happening? There are no tools to support the change. So when we go to the Be Amazing movement, the partners that I have chosen, God has chosen, that aligns with the core principles, it's simply a tool. So Wishing Well is a tool, knowing, I mean, I have my map like tatted on my arm inside for me as when I'm having those down days, it reminds me, because to live a life on point with attention, you have to declare it and will it to happen. And until you do that, it ain't gonna happen. People have always said, you're so lucky. I'm like, I'm not lucky. I choose it to happen. I intend it to happen. And I put it out to the world. So when I met Victoria, it was not coincidence. It was supposed to happen because she created a tangible jewelry line as well. People aren't as bold as me. They're not gonna put a tattoo on their arm, but if they have a ring with a secret charm inside, or a necklace, or whatever it might be, when you're having those down days, it's a reminder. And then I met Erin, and you know, what you put on your body is just as important as what you put in your body. So in the swag bags, you're gonna have some safe, clean, green products. I don't care if you use Modere or not, but if you're not looking at the products that you're putting on your skin and in your hair, oh wait, did I mess up my tiara? Or on your kids, then you should. And then the final piece of the puzzle, I am having this truly out-of-body experience, and I'm like, okay, God, here it all is. And I'm like, do I really have to create a curriculum? Because I am a teacher. Because my aha, if you really want to make a difference in the world, you can butter someone up all day long, listen to their little cries, give them a kiss or a kick, whatever. But if there's not a tool in place for them to leave you and to actually change, we go back to the habits that we've always lived. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going on vacation with my family, and hey hon, I'm gonna be writing a curriculum, how to change your life on the beach. And of course he's like, all right, you do that, because he was fine with it. And then prior to, another good friend of mine I met 5 years ago, reaches out to me before and says, oh my gosh, Jen, I have to tell you about this curriculum called Life Vision. I'm like, what? His curriculum. I go, do tell. She's like, it's living your life on purpose, on point. What do you want out of your life? And here is a tool to manifest it. I had just spoken those words prior to my husband. I screamed because I'm like I get to just hang out on the beach with a cocktail in my hand and not like write a curriculum. So I literally said, thank you, and thank you, and thank you. And so without further ado, to close out the evening, Heidi and her business partner, Lori, thank you. Come on up. Okay, give them a round of applause.
Okay, so Heidi and I are going to do a little tag team. So again, my name is Lori Barland, and I'm just going to invite everybody to...
Can I stop you?
Yes.
Sorry, ADHD. This was supposed to be passing around, so these never got started. So these are tickets, however many tickets you want for the art raffle, because we're going to raffle the other and then art separate. If you want one ticket, $10. You want $20, two. You know how it works. So just cut off your tickets and then we'll pay afterwards. We're starting here. Okay, good. Sorry.
No, you are fabulous. So again, I just want to invite everybody tonight. This has been literally an amazing night, and this is Jen's dream, and we're so honored to be here with all of you. And Heidi and I flew out here from Salt Lake City to meet all of you wonderful people. We didn't really know what we were coming into. We just knew that we were here for a reason, and there is somebody in this room that needs to hear our message. And I don't know really who that is, but I know that each and every one of you are here for a reason, whether it's to meet someone else
whether it's to hear some nugget of information from somebody that's up here at the front, or whether it's to just be in the presence of amazing, smart women that is going to lift you up somewhere in your life. I don't know what that looks like for you. But I do know that this is an incredible group of people, and there is something here tonight that you are going to take home with you and make a difference in your life. So what I want to do, Heidi and I have a mission in our business and in our lives, is to truly, truly empower you, like Jen said, to not only get motivated and make a change and make choices in your life, but to really solidify that in your brain and change habits. And the tool that we use is called Life Vision. So I just want to share a really brief story, and I invite you to be present and hear a few nuggets that may empower you, either from what I say or from what Heidi says. And you can then share that with somebody else and see if you can empower them as well. But really briefly, the way that this came to me was I was married, like Aaron, right? Like Aaron said, at age 21. I got married really young. I was married at age 21 to my high school sweetheart. We had a really amazing marriage. We traveled, we went to school, we had 2 beautiful kids. I have 2 boys, they're now ages 9 and 6. 3 years ago, he was going through MBA school and had to go to Paris for graduation. Part of the curriculum, they had to go on this international trip with the school. So he was gone for 2 weeks. He comes back and is gone 2 nights after he gets home. And my 2 babies are in the bathtub, ages 6 and 3 at the time. And I pull out my tablet that he had borrowed to take on his trip so that I could just get back to a book that I was reading before he left. And I pull up my tablet, and there's this new little icon on the tablet. And I thought, oh, that's, maybe he downloaded a game, I don't know, there's something on this tablet. So of course I click on it, and it opens up his email inbox. It was a icon for his email, and it was logged in. And the first page that comes up is a whole page of emails with one woman's name on it. The entire page, and it's a woman that I know. So, oh, that's really weird. Why would this woman be emailing my husband so much? I have no idea. She's not in school. I don't know. So, me being any logical human being, clicks on one of the emails, and I see the words, "I miss you. I love you. I hope you come back soon. I can't wait to put my arms around you." So I'm sitting on the toilet as my bench, and my babies are in the bathtub, and cue vomit. So I put the tablet down, I stand up, turn around, vomit. My poor little boy is, "Mommy, what's the matter? What's wrong?" So like any woman, any mom, you immediately take that deep breath, put on the game face. I am in mom mode. Boys, it's time to get out of the bathtub. Bath time's over. We're gonna go read a book. We're gonna just do our thing. So I get my kids out of the bathtub, still game face, trying not to hyperventilate. Focus on the kids, focus on the kids. My beautiful boys, they have no idea what's happening. I have no idea what's happening. Maybe I misread it. Maybe this is a mistake and I misread it. Get my kids out of the tub, get them in bed. He's gone that night for whatever. I don't even know what he was gone for. I'm going to assume nothing good. Get them in bed, and I decide to torture myself a little bit more and really make sure that I read what I read. So I go pull up the tablet, see the 8,000 emails, and start reading. It was not a mistake. So the man that I had known since I was 15 years old, dated since I was 17, got married when I was 21, had thought we had a good marriage. I thought that we had a future. His family is my family's been, you know how that story goes. Had no reason to think otherwise. So I go into panic mode. It's like, okay, what do I do? Do I call his mom? Do I call my mom? Do I call his brother? Do I call the police? What do I do? So I chose to do nothing. And I put it away. I knew he'd be home any minute. I went to bed and pretended to be asleep. And I could hear him walking up the stairs, and I'm getting anxiety and I don't know what to do. What do I do? What do I do? I'm afraid. I don't know what to do. Comes up the stairs, kisses me goodnight. I'm pretending to be asleep, and I think, I misread it. He loves me. This is not happening. He does whatever he's doing, eventually goes to bed, and I realize he's asleep next to me. I probably fell asleep. Get up in the middle of the night and read more. So all of this is now hitting me to reality. This is now my reality that my husband has had an affair, and I don't know how long. As far as I can tell, just with the emails, it's at least 6 months. I don't know. So I go to work the next day, call the first marriage therapist I can Google, and have my immediate breakdown. She walks me through it, gets me off the cliff, and we go in to see her. So all of this story brings me to the reality, this was 3 years ago, that I really did, even after that, made the conscious decision that he is a good man. He made terrible, terrible choices, and it has nothing to do with me. It was his journey, it was his choice, but I have to remove myself from that journey. So I chose, and it was a very, very conscious choice, and sometimes it was multiple times a day that I had to make this choice, sometimes over a lot of wine that I had to make this choice, that I choose to live my life on my terms. I love this man with every ounce of my being, but not in that manner anymore. I now chose to respect my children enough and respect myself enough to be okay with this. It took a long time, but the message I want to share with you is that whatever trauma you've had in your life, whether it's divorce, and I'm sure a lot of you have been through a divorce in your life, it is like a death. It's a death of the future you thought that you had, a death of the person you thought you knew, a death of an identity that you had created in your mind. It's like any death that you experience, it is the same trauma. Everybody has a story, everybody has a trauma. What we get to decide though is how we show up. How we show up, right? I could choose and be totally justified to be a bitter, nasty bitch. I could, and I would be totally justified. I could be a bitter, nasty bitch. I'm not gonna lie. Over those wine nights with my girlfriends, I really did want to stick a fork in his eyeball. But it's not gonna happen. That doesn't serve me. That doesn't serve my children. It doesn't serve him. So I made that conscious choice to show up better in my own life. To show up for myself, to show up for my kids. I made that conscious choice that I will never, ever, ever talk about their dad in front of them. Every child deserves to think their parent is a rock star. They do. Their parents are rock stars, and they will never hear from me why we really divorced until they're adults and they ask, and of course that's going to come up. And then there's no holds barred. But it is a choice. I was faced with that choice again just this week. 3 days ago, I found out that he's getting married. Not to her. I know. So after the first few months of us splitting up, they realized that the real relationship was not nearly as fun as the secret relationship. And they broke up. So he now has a new woman in his life, and I now have to kind of go through that again. But it's okay, because again, I choose to show up in my own life. I choose to make a difference. And honestly, the real reason that I was able to get through this so gracefully, and I'm not negating the tears, there was a lot of tears, but to get through it so gracefully and not stick a fork in his eye, one was because I had a surrounded group of girlfriends who empowered me. We didn't wallow, we didn't talk about how crappy of a human being he is. He's still the father of my children, and I honor that, right? I'm not going to sit here and wallow and talk about what a crappy human being. All that does is bring negative energy and continue to wallow in that. So you purposely surround yourself, just like this group, with women who will uplift you and say, get through those tears, have another glass of wine, let's look at what we're grateful for. Cheers. You focus on what you're grateful for, and you will move mountains, I promise you. You will be unusually successful in your life if you turn that around and look at what you're grateful for. But that only comes from being direct. I wrote it in my life vision, like she talked about. I was very, very crystal clear on the characteristics I wanted to be. I was no longer the persona of Kevin and Lori. I was now Lori Barland on my own 2 feet. That is who I am. That is who I stand here in front of you today as. And that is a powerful, powerful statement. And I did that on purpose because I wrote it in my life vision and because I made the people around me understand that I am not going to wallow in this. Emotion is one thing and you get through it, but you come out the other side a powerful, happy human being, right? During this time, I was also, so the theme tonight really seems to be Africa, and I don't think that was actually intentional. I don't think it was. 6 months after I found out about this event, this fair, that by the way went on for 1.5 years, so that was a whole nother set of trusting yourself and, you know, that emotion. But I was invited by my dear friend Anne, who is the creator of Life Vision, to go to Kenya, Africa, to teach this to high school students and to women there who were starting their businesses. I've never had a passport. I've never been outside of the United States besides Tijuana, Mexico, and that doesn't really count. So I said, you know what? I'm a brand new single mom. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where my income's coming from. I don't have a passport, but yeah, why not? Let's go to Africa. So I said yes. I made it happen. I wrote it in my life vision that I create the money, I create the resources, I create the opportunity to do it. I don't know what it looks like. So I am not joking with this story. My tax return that year, I went and got my passport, did the whole thing, still didn't know how I was going to do it. My tax return that year, because my accountant was able to do it separately because we'd been separated for 6 months. I wish I had taken a picture. It was no joke, to the dollar that I needed to go on this dang trip. You know what? Hallelujah, I'm going to freaking Africa. So cheers. I got on that plane and went because I needed to do something bigger than myself. I knew that my life was changing. I needed to create a new identity. I knew I needed something new. I needed something different. And he would never in a million years want me to go to Africa. So I said, I'm going. I went and empowered these kids, these women, to change their lives. And there was one singular moment that I can tell you that my life ultimately changed for the better. We had just taught this class in this high school, and this one girl, this 16-year-old girl, comes up to me and she holds my hand like this, looks me in the eye and she says, thank you. I said, you're welcome. She said, no. Thank you for giving me a choice. Giving me a choice, because I taught her some simple goal setting and goal achievement techniques. Her whole life is living in a mud hut and being poor and having babies, and that's it. Being abused, being poor, that's it. That's her path. Until that day, she knew she had a choice. She could do something better in her community. She could go to school. We're raising funds for her to go to school because she decided. That message of that little girl, that 16-year-old girl in the middle of Kenya, Africa, can make a choice and get her education and empower her community because she decided in her head to do it. Every single one of you can do the exact same thing, right? It is a choice. I love my life today. I love it. Even with the whole marriage thing this week, that is his path, and it's okay. I'm not gonna lie, I cried myself to sleep Tuesday night. I woke up with the puffy eyes, really pretty Wednesday morning. But I called Heidi that day and I said, all right, I had my cry, I did it, that's it, that's all I'm letting myself have. I already wrote 10 new pages of what my life looks like, and I am gonna make a heck of a lot of money. I am taking my kids, we are traveling, I am teaching them about this world and how they can give back and do better in their lives. Yeah. That is my goal. And I do that because I decide. I decided. Has nothing to do with his path. His path is his path. He made his own mistakes. It has nothing to do with me. So whatever happens in your life, your journey, you get to choose. You get to choose how you show up and how you deliver that to other people, right? So by creating a reality on paper and in your head and really being intentional about your goals, I promise you it's an amazing feeling. Things will happen and things will come at you, but when you know that you get to choose your reaction to whatever situation happens, it is empowering to do that. So with that said, I really want you to hear a story that Heidi's going to share about one of our journeys to Kenya, Africa, and one of the Maasai warriors that we got to meet there, and his bravery and his journey. So it's an amazing story, and I want you to hear it. And I know we're running late, so I just am going to invite you to be present. If you need to order another glass of wine, believe me, feel free. I'm from Utah. We don't get a lot of events with wine. This is freaking amazing. I love it. So please do that and listen to Heidi, and you're gonna feel something that stirs in you and changes by hearing this story. So Heidi, please.
Heidi, okay. Okay, it is 9:10. We will be done at 9:30. I know I said 9. Fine. Okay, so what's gonna happen? Here are the pink tickets for the separate raffle for somebody's mama for this beautiful The Giving Rose print. So here's how it works. We're going to pass the tickets. So you are going to tear off both of them. Let me hold that. You're going to tear off, like to my mouth. Thanks, love. That's okay. You're going to tear off both of them. And like this is $10, right? So if you want 3 tickets, tear off 3. So then what we'll do after we do our champagne toast confetti toss, Erica and Princess Leia, they're gonna come through and then you can pay them cash, check, or they can swipe your card and then they'll take the other end. Does that make sense? So as we're finishing up, to save time, we're gonna be passing the roll. And so if you just want one chance, $10, you know, 20, 30 on up, okay? And it's $360, that's it, to hire a healthcare worker. Okay, so we'll start here.
Hi everyone. My name is Heidi Totten, and I just would like to share a story of bravery and creating an intention in your life that is very powerful for me, and I apologize if I cry, but I'm going to because I always cry when I tell this story. When Lori got back from Kenya last year, I sat down with the Ideal Life Vision founder, and she said to me, you have to go to Kenya. You have to go to Kenya. And I can only tell you that the fear that came up in me was so tangible you could cut it with a knife. Because since I was 10 years old, I've had a disorder in my legs called lymphedema, to the point where when I was pregnant, my doctor said I was the most swollen patient that he has ever had in the history of his practice. And so for me to get on a plane and fly for that amount of time in order to then be in a third world country for 2 weeks with no access to medical care was terrifying, because when I get cellulitis in my legs, I'm in the hospital for 2 days with an IV drip. And so I knew that it was going to be all the bravery, it would take all the bravery that I had in me. And that summer, I had planned to go in November on the trip, and that summer I was diagnosed with alert level anemia, and I was diagnosed with adrenal fatigue, and I was literally crashing. All of my levels, pre-diabetic, everything was crashing. And I thought, how on earth am I going to go to Kenya in November? How am I going to do this? And I felt this pull. All I can say is that I literally felt like I was supposed to be there. And so I met with a clinic, and many of you probably have health problems, or you have family members that have had health problems. And I went to the clinic, and the doctor said it's going to take 6 months to a year. And this was in July. And I thought, okay, I'll go to Kenya in March. And then I went over, or I actually saw Ann. Lori is the managing director of the eWomen Network Salt Lake City chapter, and I saw Ann at a lunch, and I said to her, I need to be certified as an Ideal Life Vision coach right now. And she said, well, I'm starting a certification in September. And I said, Ann, I know you've recorded these calls right now. And she said, okay. And so I started the process of getting certified, and I wrote a life vision around my health, that my body would heal. And life vision is a tool where you're listening to your own self-talk. And right, ladies, we believe our own self-talk more than anyone else's. I'm fat, I'm not worth it, I'm not good enough. We listen to our own voice, and it's our most believable voice. And I wanted my most believable voice to tell me that I was going to heal myself and that I was going to Kenya. And so I wrote an entire section in my life vision, and when you write your life vision, you record it in your own voice with accelerated learning music at the same time, and you listen to that every day, your voice telling you who you are and what you get to do and what choices you get to make. And it is the most powerful tool that I've ever encountered that allows me to live with intention. So I wrote that life vision, and at the midway point of my 6-month program, I went to my doctor's office and I had a blood test. And he called me and he said, "What did you do?" And I said, "What do you mean?" Knowing exactly what I did. And he said, "The blood results I just got back are completely normal, and that should have taken you 6 months to a year. What did you do?" And I said, "I wrote a life vision around it, and I told my brain that it was time for my body to heal." And he said, "Whatever." He said, "I don't know what that is, but keep doing it." And I said, "Okay." And so in March, I said prayers like you would not believe. And God said, "Heidi, go show up for these people and you will be just fine." And there were 8 women on that trip, and 5 of them were healers. And I was just fine. But let me tell you what else happened. When I set foot in Kenya, I felt the most powerful love that I have ever experienced in my life. And the people I met, it was literally an experience where I said, "Oh, there you are." People that I knew, that I've known for, who knows, eternity before I came to this earth. And I felt like I met family. And these people, you go over there to thinking that you're going to change something, and it's not. It changed me. And one of the people that I met was a Maasai warrior, and his name is Moses, and I have permission to share this story, which is a miracle, an absolute miracle. And Moses was born in a bush. I learned that from his mother. And his mother was responsible for bringing Christianity to the Maasai people. The Maasai are like Aborigines, can't get this earring in, or Native Americans. And they are very isolated, and they run the safari. And so Moses met Anne. I'm going to have a hard time with this. Lori? Moses met Anne online. And Anne said, "I want you to write your life vision." And so he did within 24 hours. And he became a life vision coach. And when he became a life vision coach, everything that he ever wanted in his life started happening. Everything that he put in his life vision. He's now in Malaysia going to IT school before he goes back to Kenya. And this is a very, very private and amazing man. He really is. He's in his 20s. Nobody knows how old he is. His mother said, "You were born like when the farmer lived over there and there was rain." So that's about how specific their birth date is. And so Moses, and I didn't even know this story until this week. Moses was in a car accident about 5 years ago, and his arm was nearly severed, and it just hung there. And his mother, the same woman with the faith to bring Christianity to a people that did not want Christianity, she was actually almost killed for it. His mother prayed and prayed and prayed that his arm would be healed. And he finally made a deal with God, and his arm was healed, and it's perfectly functioning today. Can you come back? But even though Moses had experienced God's healing power, he still was terrified that he would be judged because of his arm. And he said, "I can put the picture up in the event or in our group on Facebook." The Maasai wear a shuka, and they wear a cape like this, and this is Moses' cape. This week, Moses did the most brave thing that he has ever done, and he put a picture of his arm, which he doesn't show people, on Facebook, and he said, "Today, I took a long walk out of my comfort zone, and I told my story. P.S. I wasn't judged." And you can imagine what we all experienced. These women, these women that have given up their time to go and teach people Ideal Life Vision, that if he hadn't had that, and he didn't have that kind of bravery deep down in his soul, that he wouldn't have been able to make that declaration that he was okay with telling his story and that he was okay with being judged. But it didn't happen, because that's not who we are. It's not who we are. It's not who we have to be. When we live with intention and we make choices about who we are going to be and how we are going to show up in this world, we empower others to do the same. And so even though I was terrified to go to Kenya, the thought of not standing here today, wearing my brother's shuka and telling his story so that it can empower you, so that you can share his story, would break my heart if I hadn't been that brave. And we came because I love Jen, and because I want to support her in this movement, and because I want to support you. And literally the only reason we came was to share stories and to meet you and make connections. My name is Heidi Totten. I'm all over Facebook. I would love to connect with you guys. I would love to be a support to you. We have a dear friend that asks 2 questions. The first one is, are you willing to be uncomfortable in your life in order to get the results that you want? And the second is, if you had the support that you need, what would you be able to achieve? So ask yourselves those questions tonight. Are you willing to be uncomfortable to get the results that you want? Thank you.
I just agree. Okay, so will you guys at the back, Wendy, will you have anybody that's in there come hither? We're going to do our first raffle. So everyone that purchased a ticket for the $37.77, and we're in a raffle. And the raffle is, you're going to be so excited. So the raffle, I don't know, I'm not good with math. I'm just going to say it's worth $777.
OMG.
So, I do know that we have a $100 gift card for a massage and masseuse. We have a $350 treatment. Scotty, stand up. Or actually come up here in your red hot dress. Okay, so Scotty, why don't you just say your name and your place of business here in Tulsa. So for y'all that came up, if you win, you get to come back and see Jen. Actually, okay.
Hi, I'm Dr. Scotty Ray Lawrence. I am the owner and director of the Health Source of Tulsa, and I have an amazing clinic that does body contouring, ultrasound cavitation, and for every inch that we take off, we donate to Girls on the Run. So we empower our women and our men who change their lives and make themselves better. We help women and little girls too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the big raffle, thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. So the big raffle is like worth $777, and all of a sudden your $37.77, which proceeds go to somebody's mama, and then we're gonna have a kick-ass swag bag when you leave on the tiaras, and these are real, by the way. Don't throw them away. I did not get these from Party Supply, and I paid a lot of money to have them overnighted, and I drove to North Tulsa to pick them up in person. That's another story. So, our $40 swag bags went to $140 in 2 seconds because of Dr. Scotty right here. So everybody's swag bag has a $100 gift card to go see her for your purchase of the Bam Bash. So, we are going to do our first raffle. So we have your $350 treatment, $100 massage. Mary Clover, raise your hand. We have a rustic cuff. If y'all aren't familiar with rustic cuff, she is a big wig. She was on Oprah, and I do have to tell you, in the course of my.
Oh my God, I'm wearing one.
Well, okay. Well, I have never owned one, and when I jumped off the ledge on April Fool's Day, because that's funny, 3 people that have come into my life have bought me one. Cha-cha-cha, and I have 3. And I just want to give a shout out to Tia Kaiser, and where is Mary Clover, and then Nancy Sunquist. So thank you guys, I love you dearly. So there is a rustic cuff in here and some extra goodies. So shall we raffle? Okay, so you guys have your, it's in the bowl. Does everybody have your ticket? This is just where you walked in the door, signed in, and put your tiara on your head. Does everybody have their tickets out? Okay, this is not the Rose Print. This is the ticket you gathered when you walked in the door. Capiche? Okay, so, shall I drum roll? That kind of sounds fun. Okay, here we go.
Beatbox.
Beatbox. Okay. Ah! Oh, bullshit. I said bullshit. Tamra Stagg. Come on, the reason I said that is because she is my godmother to my children. Yours truly goes down in an airplane. She will raise my 3 children. And I have 2 blood sisters. If that tells you anything, my blood sisters will not be raising my children, but this woman right here.
Alright, while they're crying and hugging.
I love you.
Okay, so for the painting, you come see me and buy your tickets from me, and then we'll do that one here in like about 20 minutes. So we can take plastic, we can take cash, we can, you know, whatever. I don't want your children here. I don't want to send off your firstborn.
Yes. Okay, has everyone purchased, this is a separate ticket for the art, and all of this goes towards somebody's mama. But what we're going to do right now, this is the cheesy stuff I love. I love this.
Yes.
So, 8 years in the making for this Be Amazing movement to take place. And I kept praying, and I kept getting overwhelmed, and more is more. And I just am very, I don't even want to say competitive, what's the word? I just, when I dive, what is the word? Driven. When I dive in, I dive in. And then I get that hyperventilation feeling, and I'm not fun to be around. And I love you, Tanya Olson, so much. Childhood friend, and she's the only one that can be around me when I'm like this. And so I apologize to everyone that was like, why didn't you call me and let me help? I'm like, my mom always said, hide your crazy. So she was my crazy, and then Stacy Bell, I love you. And what we're gonna do now is, you know, 2 things that I thought of. This here, I want you guys to all personally, because I'm a little cheesy, to take your little hand and to pat yourself on the back. And please do not throw away your tiara. They are not fake, they are real. And this is the first step. This is the first Bam Bash. There will be many. They will be worldwide. They will be global. There will be a Bam Bash cruise. And it's gonna be real. And so for you guys showing up today, put this little tiara in a very, very special place. And what we're doing is they're passing out a champagne toast. We are all, for picture reasons, we will be gathering in a moment. Where is Picture Girl? I think because of the lighting in here, we are going to be gathering in the back part for a picture, and then we will also be doing a confetti toss. And so I have bowls of confetti. We will toast first, and then we will pass the bowl of confetti to throw into the air. When I jumped off the ledge for the Be Amazing movement, I had to come up with the tag, right? The tagline, the signature. And I thought, okay, what is it, God? What is it? What is it? And I'm like, oh, aha. We are a tribe of amazing women empowering and celebrating one another, rocking the crazy world, this crazy world with confetti and all hell. So, make sure that do not drink your champagne yet, do not jinx it. We are going to get our champagne and we will go to the back. We are going to do a group tribe celebration toast, and then we will have a confetti toss. So everybody stay where you are until you get your champagne, and then we will literally do our little tribal ceremony together. And this right here actually got up. Kudos to the people who did not quit. And please tonight, any pictures you post to social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, if you hashtag BAMBASH or Be Amazing Movement, it will pop up on our website. So post pics and hashtag BAMBASH, hashtag BAM, Be Amazing Movement, and will appear here. So after you get your champagne, let's go to the back and gather around and let's get pictures, and then I will bring the confetti bowls.